how long it would take to do like one sheet of rock, you know? That's why
You can see the amount of stone that was used for King's Chapel. This was considered one of the wonders of the world, or the new world, we should say, in those days here. Because think about that, it was very, very labor intensive. So to create this church here, it cost a lot of money. They built this around the wooden structure that was inside. Then they passed the wood out the windows. It was completed. But when you go to look at King's Chapel, what you're going to notice, if you walk around, you can pass these around too. But anytime you go in there and you look at King's Chapel, you'll never see that mark that you see here. You'll never see these marks on King's Chapel. When they developed the method of splitting stone, by using a drill in the feathers and wedges, which was about 1803, and that came into widespread use, where they decided rather than breaking the stones up using this and then using that little peen hammer, in order to get a big block of granite like you see like the back of the truck, they would drill a series of holes like you see here using a round plug drill, and then they would put these shims, two half-round shims, and a wedge in there, and they could split the granite off. So that greatly facilitated, it made it a lot easier for splitting the stone. That's the method they used for the Bunker Hill Monument when they built the Bunker Hill Monument. And after that, the stone industry in Quincy took off because Solomon Willard, he experimented with splitting the stone and finishing the stone, made it a lot cheaper, cost-effective, less labor. The other thing that I want to mention, you can see over here, was the land was sold off. So in 1762, after the building of King's Chapel, and there were a couple of contractors that made money off of this public land, selling the stone. So if you read Patty's history of Old Braintree and Quincy, it's rather interesting because he talks about how certain politicians were paying back their friends by giving them the contract, basically, to sell the stone that was on public land. It was supposed to be for everybody, but there were some people that were making money off it. They couldn't police it. So in 1762, they decided to sell off the South and the North Commons property. So the land was sold off. Of course, if you had some money, you bought property. The Adams family bought a lot of the North Common area off of Quincy. Thayer owned a lot of this property here. Thayer's a very famous name here in Braintree, I guess. So the land was sold off. In 1765, the North Common land was sold off. You had the American Revolution that took place 1775 to 1783. In that period of time, this was land that was owned by private owners. An interesting character that lived not too far from here is this guy here, Joseph Richards. Now, he wasn't born in Quincy, but he came here when he was 18 years old, and his first job was working as a coachman for President John Adams. In 1802, Adams was out of office. It was the year after he was the president. He worked as a coachman, only for about 2 or 3 months. And President Adams said to him, he goes, "Well, I think you're a little too smart for this job. You should go do something else." He went to school. He became a school teacher. He